All right. So, how's it going, everyone? I'm currently down to 192 at 6'1". But on other news, we're gonna get back to the video on why I think most fitness coaches are idiots and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Now, I'm referring to health and fitness, not bodybuilding coaches. Those are two separate things, even though you can be both of them at the same time. But there is some caveats to why I think most influence trainers, coaches are idiots when it comes to weight loss. Now, I'm not talking about bodybuilding show, like getting ready for bodybuilding show, or even getting ready for summer. I'm talking about health and fitness transformation. So we're talking like a big fella, right? You're 100, 200, 300, 400 pounds overweight. All right. So here's how I look at it and what I've seen personally. And I've had friends that have come to me, been like, hey, Jesse, can you coach me? Because my coach has been motherfucker just having me cutting straight down. We're talking like 10, 30, possibly 40 pounds in a month. And the bad part, there's nothing wrong with that. We can get you to lose that as long as we go to maintenance phase right after. But we're talking their coaches are having to lose like 10, 15 pounds for over a year, 2 years straight. And that's pounds per month with no break, no diet, fatigue relief. And eventually, guess what happens? Oh, shit. Motherfucker goes in there, eats a whole box of cookies, even if it's not cookies. He eats a whole box of or a whole container of Greek yogurt, so some fucking chocolate cocoa powder in there. And he fucking eats that shit right up. How do I know? I've done this. I've had friends that have done this. And it's not good. You can literally fuck 1 year's progress in 2 nights. Swear to God, you can fuck it straight to hell. All right. And not a lot of people see it that way. They don't see it as that, but no, motherfucker, you can fuck your night up and your whole year off 2 nights if you eat bad enough, and it's possible. Trust me. I fucked off 2 whole weeks worth of dieting worth in 1 day. I fucking felt like dog shit after doing it, but I did it. But as I said, so what the coaches will have their clients do is cut nonstop, continuously. And I don't, especially for people that are overweight, you shouldn't do that. If you're trying to get in shape for a bodybuilding show, then obviously, yes, you have to prep. If you got too far out of shape in the off season and you go in and it's going to take you 6 months to 8 months to a year to get ready for your show because you fucked off the whole year and got fat because you did a bulk, then yeah. But here's how I view it. There should be 4 quarters in a year. 4 opportunities for fat loss. Well, technically more than 4, but 4 quarters for fat loss and 4 quarters for maintenance, right? So 2 months cutting, 1 month maintaining. And the reason why is because you got to teach them how to cut. So a good coach will set you up to where you won't need him in the future, especially health and fitness. A good coach will. A bad coach will set it up to where, you have to keep coming back and keep paying them. When I've coached my friends, I've told them and showed them how to be successful without me. So if something happens or if they don't want my coaching service anymore, they can go off and maintain, cut, and do what they need to do to be healthy for the rest of their life. That's what a good coach should do. So 2 months on cutting, 1 month on maintaining. And I said, we need to teach them how to cut, get the fat off, and we need to teach them that 1 month how to maintain. So if you do the math, 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 8 months of cutting, 8 months of education, and 8 months of showing them that, hey, here's how we lower your calories, and you explain to them why you're lowering the calories in the set increments and the set calories that you're doing. And for maintenance, you got to teach them how to maintain. And keep in mind, this is just for the first year. If you're only going to have your client for a year, this is how you do it. And as I said, 2 months cutting, 1 month maintaining. Then after the second year, once they're in a good, healthy body fat range, I'm not saying 18%. No, I don't believe 18% is. Yes, it's technically scientifically healthy, but it's too close to the danger zone. 20 to 25%. Anything past that is considered unhealthy. If I remember correctly, it's 25%. But I personally, right now, I'm if my scale's right, I'm 18% body fat. I need to get lower. I need to get down to 180 to be at a healthier body fat range. But preferably, you would want to get your clients down to 15% body fat, even if they're just not trying to be a bodybuilder. Because 15%, you can do that pretty freaking well. You can maintain that pretty well, and you can have a luxurious food life and still not be as restrictive and still experiment with food ideals and look good and feel good for most people. So with that being said, as I said, 2 months cut, 1 month maintain. Alrighty, and now the main thing they want to bring up is in this 1 year period, you're giving your client the opportunity, if they do it right, 8 to 10 pounds a month. Now that's anywhere from 60 to 80 pounds a year lost. If you're 200 pounds overweight, hey, you just lost 80 pounds, and you're closer to go to being at a healthy body fat. So technically I said you could stop them at 20%, but I personally want to see if, out of the friends I've coached, my clients, I personally want to see them around at 15% body fat mark, just because it's aesthetically pleasing to most people. Women find that range attractive, even men, even gay, homosexual men, they even find that range attractive. For most men and women, that shredded look they don't like. They're like, ugh! Like, get that the fuck out of here. That looks sick. That sick in the good way, but sick is they get in the fucking hospital and get some shit done to them. But I said, most coaches don't do that. They just have you cut all the way through, no breaks, no diets, 2 to 3 years, you're still cutting. And in between that 1, 2, 3 year period, you fucking binge eat like 7 times. And where you could have lost 60 to 80 pounds, well, now you only lost fucking 40 to 50 pounds up through that year. So it's like, why keep pushing when you can take a break, lose more weight, 60 to 80 pounds versus 40 to 50. You see what I'm saying? So it's common sense, and I feel like a lot of coaches are lacking that. And I also have my preference on protein and carbs. I like to do it different for most coaches, but I do have a video coming out on that, and I will be explaining that in my next video. But like I said, if you're morbidly obese, 100, 200, 300 pounds overweight, in my opinion, you should cut for 2 months, maintain for 1. Now, that's for the first year. For the second year, let's say at the end of the first year, let's say ideally we roll into the second year. Let's say you're at 15% body fat, okay? Ideally 15, so we're just going with 15 because that's what I like. 15% body fat. Now here's what you're going to do for year 2. You're going to see if your client wants to do bodybuilding or anything of the sort. If not, cool, whatever, okay, But I do think, at least bare minimum, humans in general, so for men, you should get down to 10% body fat. Women, 15. 15. And the reason why I say this is because it'll teach them, hey, they can be lean, and it's also pushing their limits and pushing their boundaries. Some people, when they get that lean, they actually like it. They're like, oh shit, I want to get leaner, and I actually want to compete, and they actually go through with it, and they pull the money together to go compete, because competing is fucking expensive. That's for another topic. My show's coming up, and that's going to be expensive. But, as I said, for another topic. But you want to, because it shows the client that, one, how far they can go mentally and physically. And it also, by getting that lean even around 10%, if someone's never been 10% body fat before, or even 12%, when they do get that lean, it shows in them, it really brings out a new side to them. It shows that, oh shit, they can push harder, they can work harder, they can achieve more. And that also carries over to other parts of life. It also carries over to work, marriages, sleep. I said, I've had friends that I've coached, and I've gotten them down to 12 to 8% body fat. And their whole reality, their whole demeanor changes, not just in health and fitness, but in everything else to a certain extent. And it's like, oh my God. And even when they do go back up to that 12, 15% body fat mark, when they come down from that 8 to 10%, that's not stage ready, all right? That should be a good off season. Is 8 to 15% should be a good off season. But around that 8 to 10 to 12% body fat, if you've never been there before and you're coming from being morbidly obese and you get down that lean, And what I'm finding is a lot of morbidly obese people, it's getting them, like their mindset is changing on a lot of stuff in the good way. And it's like their mind opens up like, oh shit, if I can push this hard in being in my physical and mental side of health and fitness, what else can I accomplish? And I've seen some of my friends, when I got them down to 8% body fat, oh my God, dude, they're rolling, having side hustles. They were still working out 5 to 6 times a week, they went from working one job to 2 jobs. Shit, you know, but I feel like that's the best way how to do it in year 2. And then year 2, I said 6 months, just maintaining, and we don't need them to bulk. They have bulked long enough. That's why we got them to cut, and then do the maintenance phase, and the cut phase, and the maintenance phase, was because they already know how to bulk. We don't have to teach them how to bulk. The son of a bitch has already been bulking long enough. That's how he got fat in the first place. I.e., like me, that's how my fat ass got fat. Up to 30%, almost, I think, 40% body fat. 6'1", almost 300 pounds, that's not good. Fucking, but we don't need, they know how to bulk, All you have to explain to them is if we do need a bulk, 500 to, 500 to 1,000 calorie surplus at most. I don't even think 1,000 calorie surplus is needed, in my opinion. What you should do is a 200 to 500 calorie surplus at most, because it takes, if I remember correctly, it takes like 2,000, 500, 2,600 to build 1 pound of muscle. And if you do the math, that works out like 200 to 380 calories per day. Because you're not going to build muscle just overnight. It takes like a few months to a few years to build the muscle, even with anabolic steroids and PEDs. But man, you gotta get after it, But yeah, I would say in that second year, they will learn something about bulking, because obviously you're going to get them down to that 8%. If not, if they can handle it, you're going to go lower to that close to stage, 4 or 5% body fat, if they can handle that. If not, we're not going to be too worried about it, because they're not trying to be bodybuilders. Well, shit, they don't need to get down to fucking 4%, 5% stage, or 4 to 5% body fat for a fucking stage, because they're not bodybuilders. They're just trying to see how far they can push the limit and push the envelope. But with that being said, by them going from, let's say you get them down to, let's just say 8-5%, and you get them back up to that 12-15% mark, they're going to learn about bulking, and you're going to do that. If they can handle it, do it twice per year, First time, okay, let's say you start out 15%. All right, cool, we're going to get you down to 8%, and then we're going to bulk you back up to 13%. All right, cool, 13, 15% back to where you were, because that'll teach you how to, how to basically do like a prep. And like, yes, you're cutting, but you're going from a maintenance phase. From first year, we're going cut, maintenance. You're going from cut, bulk, maintain. Or it would be cut, bulk, maintain. So that's how the first quarter would go. I said, if they can do it, if they can handle it, you do it twice per year. So it'd be cut, bulk, maintain. So 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6 months, half a year. You do that. If they can do that, then you redo it again. And that's if the client wants to, and that's if they can handle it. But the first time you do it, as I said, you want to go from like 15 to 8%, maybe possibly even 5 if they can handle it. That's great. And then the second quarter, the last part of the year, you're going to go and do it again, but you're going to get them lower, around 4 to 3% body fat if they can handle it. But that's my take on what I think most fitness coaches get wrong when it comes to training and educating morbidly obese people, is they just have them cut straight through nonstop, and then they have them maintain, and then they don't tell them the steps. Why are we cutting? Like, obviously we know why we're cutting, because you're fat and you need to get healthy, duh. But with that being said, they don't explain any of the steps. They don't explain, why am I taking out this calories? Why am I having you do this, and this? And it's like, dude, it's like, just explain to your clients. Like, I get it, you want money, but you should be about helping the client, educating the client, and getting them to prosper long term if something happens to you. You know, now, do I want my clients to leave me? No, because that's money. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I want to benefit their life because I'm doing it. I'm like me personally. I don't do it for the money. I do it just to help people, and I make nothing off of it basically. With a few clients I have, I make like chump change, dude. Like holy shit. Like I don't even make enough to tax, to be honest with you. But that's how I view it for morbidly obese people, because in that 2 year period, you'll teach them how to cut, maintain, cut, and bulk, and it'll also teach them how to prep. And in between all that time, it'll also teach them how to, like the macros, why we have the macros this way, why we're taking carbs out and not protein, why we're taking fat over carbs in certain stages, you know. But yeah, like I said, that's why I feel like a lot of coaches get wrong. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm the idiot. But if there's any other questions that you guys have, let me know. I can do a response video to your questions, and I can explain more stuff in details if there's anything I missed, or if you have any questions. I'll do a whole video on one of your questions. Fuck yeah. I love debates. I love not necessarily negative confrontation, but I enjoy that stuff because that's how we learn. Is we talk, we discuss. You say your opinion, I say my opinion, and that's how we learn and grow. But leave a comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what you think, for real. Like legit, just lay it out there. Tell me if you think I'm an idiot. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you think my way of cutting and bulking is wrong. But that's how I view it for morbidly obese people. We're not talking about sports athletes. We're not talking about bodybuilders, basketball players, football players. We're just talking about the morbidly obese and getting them healthy like I was. I was morbidly obese, and now I'm healthy, and I'm with my coach, and my coach is doing an amazing job. He is awesome. But as I said, for me, this is how I do it. Excuse me. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think.